me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that Greenlight Maine.
Welcome to Greenlight Maine. I'm Julene Gervais. Thanks for joining us. We have a savvy group of entrepreneurs as we continue our Best of the Best series. Tonight, we showcase Maine's aquaculture industry with two companies that are doing things differently, but in a good way. Our judges will advance one of them to the next round. Speaking of which, let's say hello to a very special group of people, former winners of Greenlight Maine. They are serving as our judges. First off, welcome Lisa Scally. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, Julene. It's really great to be back here on the other side of the table this time. Since we won in 2019, Ocean's Balance hasn't looked back. We've just been booming and sales are growing in every direction. We've expanded our breadth a little bit into the online world and things are looking up.
So great to hear. Next up, we have Alaya Tannhauser from North Spore.
Hi, Julene. It's great to be back and be with you. Things are going really well at North Spore. Our mission is to make the world of mushrooms accessible to all by fostering innovation and collaboration and improving tomorrow. And we are helping more people grow mushrooms than ever before. And actually, COVID has just encouraged people to garden at home and have new hobbies. So it's been really great for us, even though it's a horrible thing to have happen.
Well, it's full speed ahead for you, so that's great. And finally, welcome Erin Flett. Hi.
Hi, Julene. Things have been going really well. Obviously, I was the most recent winner, so just on the verge of doing a lot of different things. We're producing actually a new line of outdoor fabric, actually indoor-outdoor fabric by the yard, as well as a new coated canvas that's going to be hopefully a huge game changer with our bag industry. So thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for all of you moving Maine forward. Our first pitch is a game changer for the lobster industry. Let's watch Jillian Robillard of Greenbait.
Hello, welcome back to Greenbait. I'm Jillian Robillard, founder and owner of Southern Maine Crabs and Greenbait. Since my last appearance here on Greenlight Maine, I've been able to secure a facility located in Kittery, which will allow me to store about 3,000 to 5,000 pounds of live Jonah crabs, as well as starting my scaled processing for Greenbait. Upon graduating from the University of New England back in March, I put my marine entrepreneurship degree to good use. I've been in touch with dozens of Maine lobstermen and women who either want to use Greenbait or who want to be a supplier of green crabs and join the incentive program where they get a discount on their bait prices. Using the connections that I have made over the past 3 years with Southern Maine Crabs, I plan to contact bait dealers who I have done extensive business with to distribute Greenbait throughout the state of Maine and all along the coast. Over these past few months, I have spent most of my time trying to set up those valuable business connections that I'm going to need in the near future. Unfortunately, when COVID-19 hit, I had to put the scaled production of Greenbait on hold for the safety of myself and my family. However, this time has allowed me to refine my proprietary processes to produce an even more cost-effective, sustainable bait source for lobstermen. In continuing research, along with talking to other scientists and industry leaders, there are new findings that have shown some positive impacts of the juvenile green crabs to other marine species. In the future, Greenbait would like to team up with those scientists to use juvenile green crabs to help their ecosystem and then harvest them once they reach a more mature stage to be used in Greenbait. This idea could provide another potential benefit to Greenbait and Maine's economy. After nearly 3 years in business with exponential growth each year, I was able to increase my sales by 175% this year alone for Southern Maine Crabs. Greenbait would allow my business to appeal to a larger customer base while benefiting the environment in countless ways. While so many Maine businesses are focused on profiting off the ocean, Greenbait would allow for responsible harvesting, education of the public, and would provide countless jobs to young and old Mainers alike. All of this while promoting a sustainable, eco-friendly way to impact Maine's economy. Greenbait turns an invasive species into an innovative solution while saving thousands of jobs in Maine.
Socially responsible and so many solutions for the lobster industry. Good for you, Jillian. Let's kick off the questions with Lisa.
Hi, Jillian. I thought you gave a great pitch, and I love your story of taking lemons in the form of green crabs and making them into lemonade. So it's a great story. I did have one question from your pitch. You mentioned that there are some positive impacts of green crabs, and I'm curious to know what they are.
Yeah, so one of the things that I actually learned this summer that I didn't know was that the juvenile stages of green crabs can actually be beneficial to things such as oysters and clams to be able to eat all of those parasites and harmful bacteria off of their shells. Once they get past that juvenile stage, though, as we know, they do more harm than good.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Okay, Alaya.
Hey, Jillian, I love that your business takes an invasive species and replaces a declining fishery and creates a resource for fishermen. My question is, what is the biggest challenge to get fishermen to convert to using green crabs as bait?
Yeah, so the biggest challenge, I believe, would be getting the older generation of lobstermen because they're so stuck in their ways. However, in the next few years, I don't really see this as becoming as big of a problem as it would be for right now. And I say this because the quota for bait fish for lobstermen is significantly dropping each year. So they're going to have to end up finding an alternative, whether that be green bait or some other form of bait. So if they can try green bait and see that it does work just as well as what they normally use, such as the herring or the pogies, then we can, successfully get them to convert over.
That
Cool.
sounds like a good marketing campaign. Okay, Erin.
What is your biggest challenge as far as hiring people or getting people to help you? Since you're, an individual right now, how do you see yourself in a couple of years or even 6 months from now?
Yeah, so I just signed a lease on a facility located in Kittery, Maine, which is the perfect spot because it's, 5 minutes to any local docks. So I do have that advantage. As far as hiring personnel goes, this coming summer, I'd really like to be in touch with my former school, University of New England, and get some of those interns for the Marine Entrepreneurship Program involved and really getting them into the marine and the business aspect of things. And from there, I'm hoping this summer to be able to hire at least 2 full-time employees to be able to help with Southern Maine crabs and then to get into the large-scale processing of green bait. And from there, I'd really like to be able to continue to work with University of New England, take on new interns, and really kind of go that way and possibly once they graduate, hire some of them to grow Southern Maine crabs as well as green bait and continue that.
All right. Well, congratulations on your new facility. You are growing strong. Some great questions by our judges. We need to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with our second pitch, so don't go away.
It's the spirit of New Englanders that inspires all of us to do more. It's in our employees, our customers, and our communities. Every day we do more because at Bangor Savings Bank, we truly believe you matter more.
Whether you're cutting edge or looking at a traditional industry in a whole new way, if you want to innovate and if you want to grow, if you're an organization here in Maine, we want to support you. We're the Maine Technology Institute.
Eaton Peabody, a Maine-based law firm serving generations of Maine businesses and families from offices in Augusta, Bangor, Brunswick, Ellsworth, and Portland.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. Our next pitch is from a woman who cultivates her product from start to finish, which is rare in her business. Let's watch Sarah Rademacher from American Unagi.
Hi, my name is Sarah Rademacher. I'm the owner of American Unagi, an aquaculture company that is focused on taking Maine harvested glass eels and growing them out to market size for the U.S. seafood industry. Maine is unique in that we are one of only 2 states that are allowed to fish for the juvenile glass eel, or elver as it's also known. This is almost a $25 million fishery for the state of Maine, and it's one of the most valuable fisheries per pound in the U.S. But the entirety of this fishery right now is getting exported to farms abroad, grown there, and then we're buying back almost 11 million pounds annually. And sometimes the eels that are coming back are worth 10 times the amount that they left the state. What I saw was an opportunity to keep the eels here in the state, to grow them here and keep the value and jobs associated with that process here in the state of Maine. The other big thing is that those eels that are getting imported back are oftentimes extremely questionable. Customers don't know if they're getting an eel from a well-managed fishery like Maine. It could be a black market eel coming from the European fishery or an overexploited eel out of the Japanese fishery. And sometimes it's not even an eel. The other big problem is that farms abroad don't have the same standards as U.S. aquaculture. So oftentimes products coming back in from these farms in China have been found to have chemical contaminants, known carcinogens in the products. So American Unagi's doing things differently. We're exclusively sourcing our eels from Maine's well-managed fishery, working directly with Maine harvesters, and growing our eels out in land-based recirculating aquaculture systems located on the coast of Maine. And we're growing our eels without the use of hormones or antibiotics. My team has been growing this idea and more eels every year. We have had the opportunity to validate our market, our process, and to connect to consumers all over the U.S. With the encouragement from consumers hungry for a local eel, support from our Maine community and local Elver harvesters, we see an opportunity to connect this business to even more coastal communities in Maine. Growing out our eels locally provides not only a product in the U.S. that can be traced back to the rivers where it was harvested and to the coastal communities where it will be grown, but ultimately to provide U.S. consumers with an eel that they can trust.
And Sarah, you are so trustworthy. Good for you. Nice pitch. Okay, Lisa, take us away.
Hi, Sarah. Great pitch. I love your story. And what I really admire about you is that you're making a smaller carbon footprint with a natural Maine resource. And that to me, it's music to my ears. We do the same thing. My question is, how much are you producing right now? And what percentage of the market does that represent?
So right now we've got 300,000 eels in production. So this year coming out, we'll end up doing about 10 metric tons. And our next facility size that we'll be building is going to be able to produce about 500,000 pounds of eels annually.
Elia, you're up.
Hi, Sarah. I think it's great how you're growing eels in Maine and kind of pioneering aquaculture in that way. My question is, can you tell me a little bit about your customers and your distribution method?
Yeah, so from initial production, we've targeted restaurants in that market, given that most Americans eat seafood out at restaurants. However, a lot more customers and people are getting used to cooking and are becoming more adventurous eaters and home cooks. So we initially were targeting restaurants, but we've also begun doing a lot more direct to consumer sales and plan our business using those two opportunities, retail and restaurants.
Erin.
So what today is your biggest challenge that keeps you up at night? Just the things that just drive you a little nuts, like trying to figure stuff out. What is the biggest challenge right now?
As a growing business in a new industry, one of the biggest challenges is timing, is making sure that we're continuing to grow on a path. And a lot of our growth is very much tied to the fishery, which is seasonal, and also, managing and monitoring a living organism. So that's a big part of our challenge, and what I put a lot of energy into is making sure we're continuing to stay on track with growing our business and continuing to expand.
Lisa.
Yeah, so how much does it cost to set up a new farm? You mentioned this one that you want to set up that's going to produce 500,000. What is the cost?
Yeah, so a facility in land-based aquaculture is very expensive upfront. You're building a building, you've got a lot of equipment. So a facility that'll produce 500,000 pounds of eels is going to run about $7.5 million. So that's our total capital and initial investment into this facility.
And we got time for one last quick question, Elia.
All right. How are these eels reaching your customers? How does your distribution work?
So our distribution right now is direct to consumers. So we're using, just typical shipping and drop shipping, which a lot of people are used to that now and have an expectation of wanting things to come directly to them. So we use UPS, we use FedEx. With our expansion, we'll be using more of the traditional seafood distribution channels. So using wholesalers, moving things down to Boston. And from there, we're able to reach, like our lobsters, kind of all over the US and the world.
Excellent. So it's been so nice to follow your success story. So great job. We need to take a quick break. When we come back, our judges are going to talk this out. So don't go away.
Through their efforts to support Maine entrepreneurs who are growing our economy, Greenlight Maine is making our state a better place to start and operate a business. For these efforts and the creation of a robust entrepreneurial ecosystem, the Harold Alfond Institute for Business Innovation at Thomas College is proud to be a sponsor of Greenlight Maine.
ARB's advisors are providing savvy solutions to Greenlight Maine startups, closely held businesses, and organizations that operate internationally. And we're doing it the way you'd want Mainers to, guided by our local, sensible values.
It's the spirit of New Englanders that inspires all of us to do more. It's in our employees, our customers, and our communities. Every day we do more because at Bangor Savings Bank, we truly believe you matter more.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. Our judges are going to deliberate because you at home want to know what they think. Let's kick it off with Lisa. And let's talk about Greenbait only because they pitched first.
Yeah, I think Jillian was terrific. So impressive at such a young age to have had the vision to start this company. And I admire her fortitude and her obvious, determination to see it grow. I also like the story of, using an invasive species and doing something positive with it. That is a great story. I did ask her off camera, if there were other applications for this bait, because I do worry, that as water's warm and the lobsters kind of swim farther north, will she still have a viable market for it? And she did answer that question. It seems to be applicable to other shellfish as well. So that looks really good.
Nice. Yeah, it's important to know that you folks spend a lot of time with these companies off camera and find out a lot of information. And she definitely is a disruptor in her marketplace.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Alaya.
I'm really impressed with Jillian and her concept, and also really appreciate the model of taking an invasive species and replacing a declining fishery with it. So I think there's a ton of potential there. I think her challenge might be in scaling that model and in the transition of getting fishermen to transition to using green bait.
Sure. At least she has her Jonah crab business to kind of keep her going, right? As she gets started.
Definitely.
Erin.
Yes, I really appreciated Julian's focus and direction, and I loved her background and her feedback about, all the different people that have given her guidance and support throughout her process, and obviously her other business will help support this business. I do feel like the challenge, I think, for her is just the marketing and the, trying to figure out a way to get that out in the world. But I do feel confident that she has a lot of drive and passion for her age, and I definitely see her being very successful.
Yes, she does. A lot of drive and passion. That's great. Okay, let's switch gears to American Unagi. Sarah, she's got her game on.
She really does. She's just taken an obvious opportunity where there was none and just, done what we would want to see somebody do with a natural Maine resource. So I admire her for that. I think she has the technical background to be able to make this work well. And I think the scalability is definitely there. As she said, so much is being imported from Asia. So she's got the whole US market that she could take advantage of.
Absolutely. Okay, Alaya.
I'm really impressed by Sarah's execution and innovation in keeping that vertical part of the eel business in Maine. I guess the challenge to me seems like it's very capital intensive to build a facility that can handle scaling. So that seems like the challenge, but it seems like she's doing a great job and there's a ton of potential there.
Yeah, you folks learned she's building a $7 million facility, 30,000 square feet in Waldoboro, which will be great for that community.
I thought Sarah was very impressive, and I thought She was so creative, and she's a problem solver, and she has tons of great energy, and she's completely passionate as well in this business. But I was really impressed with her ability to take this concept and really just move it through and execute in such a way, and find funding and support from local grants. And I mean, that's a huge amount of creativity and perseverance, which I think she'll be, with all that, and the fact that she's growing and producing that large facility, I think it's endless of what she can do moving forward.
Great. Okay, well, you have a tough decision to make, and when we come back, we're going to find out who the winner is. Don't go away.
I've found that it's both a blessing and a curse to be an entrepreneur. If you are one, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you start a business, you're passionate about what you're doing. You need to get other people to help you achieve your vision to build a profitable company. There's a book called Traction by Gino Wickman that has helped me with growing my business, and I think it will help you too. It lays out a process to grow a team that will help you grow a business. And in an ideal world, you will find a key individual who will be your integrator to help you roll out all the details of your business. And you, as the visionary, will have new ideas every day, while meanwhile your integrator will translate those ideas into reality. Check it out. I know that for me and my business, it has been the key to getting ideas out of my head and into the operations manual so we can deliver the same level of quality service to every one of our clients.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. Our inspiring Mainer this week is Kim Hamilton, who is the president of Focus Maine. It's so good to see you, Kim.
Likewise, Julene, it's great to be back.
Let's start off and talk about how COVID has affected Focus Maine. Have you seen anything that's different, or maybe some, things that you want to share with our viewers at home?
Yeah, so Focus Maine works in 3 areas: agriculture, aquaculture, and biopharmaceuticals. And I'd say the impact of COVID has been different on each of those sectors. So on one hand, we've seen, the food economy, especially restaurants, struggling a little bit, but there's a ton of work that's happening to get direct to consumer. So there's, some great stuff happening there, certainly around biopharma and all the good stuff that's happening in Maine, in relation to the vaccine development, huge energy there. And, even in aquaculture, looking at how, the increase in the interest in seafood and some new models and getting that to consumers. So, it's a combination of, some tough stuff, but also some really exciting stuff.
And congratulations, Focus Maine received a large chunk of that $500 million from the Harold Alfond Foundation. Just curious on how you're planning on using some resources.
Yeah, well, first of all, we were very honored to be a part of that. I think at the very heart of that constellation of grants is this idea: if we all work together, we can move Maine forward further faster. And so we will be using it to help move our aquaculture strategy forward, looking at how do we continue to support entrepreneurs who are export oriented, looking at how do they grow their companies and sell more of those good Maine foods outside of the state. And then on biopharma, looking at how do we develop that corridor that exists between Boston and Maine to really help support, the entrepreneurs in Maine, but also build the ecosystem for more of, that sort of development and business development to happen. It's the last thing I'd say is, we've got this internship program, and we're just seeing so much energy now around people moving back to the state and the opportunities that are happening in all of those sectors.
Nice. How about some advice for our entrepreneurs on the show?
Well, I guess I would say the same thing to entrepreneurs that I've said to people who work for me. Surround yourself with good people. That's so important. Know where your expertise ends and someone else's begins. Make sure that you have a strategy. There are a lot of different ways to get to your end goal, but you need to keep the big picture. And the last thing is there has to be some fun. And so there has to be, just some opportunities to really step back and, celebrate and enjoy the path.
Great advice. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's so good to see you, and we'll see you next time.
Likewise, thank you.
All right. We'll be right back after this with our winner. Don't go away.
Through their efforts to support Maine entrepreneurs who are growing our economy, Greenlight Maine is making our state a better place to start and operate a business. For these efforts and the creation of a robust entrepreneurial ecosystem, the Harold Alfond Institute for Business Innovation at Thomas College is proud to be a sponsor of Greenlight Maine.
Whether you're cutting edge or looking at a traditional industry in a whole new way, if you want to innovate and if you want to grow, if you're an organization here in Maine, we want to support you. We're the Maine Technology Institute.
It's the spirit of New Englanders that inspires all of us to do more. It's in our employees, our customers, and our communities. Every day we do more because at Bangor Savings Bank, we truly believe you matter more.
Welcome back to Greenlight Maine. There is so much innovation going on in Maine's aquaculture industry, as we saw tonight with Greenbait and American Unagi. But it's time to find out who's advancing to the next round of the competitions. Judges, in the count of three, tell us who it is. 3, 2, 1. And that means Sarah from American Unagi is moving on to the next round. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. This was a lot of fun.
And that's going to do it for us. Thanks for joining us. Please check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can see all of our episodes on greenlightmaine.com. We'll see you right back here next week with 2 more fabulous companies. Have a great night.
Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine. Give me that green light. Give me that green light, Maine.